Hi, this is Lavoie. I'm going to be introducing the listeners to alchemy. We are all alchemists. So sit back, enjoy, take in what resonates with you. It'll click as the days and weeks transpire, and I will be doing more recordings and interviews with Di and Clem. They are alchemists, and they have been doing alchemy for many years. And they are going to be assisting all of us to remember how to be alchemists. It's our true expression. All right, here we go. Clem, what is your mission?
Return to Paradise. Milton's book on paradise lost. So if it's lost, someone has to return paradise. We are returning back to paradise. On the talk of alchemies, certain things will trigger in you that you have never heard and resonate deep into your soul center. You know, I had a big realization yesterday. When you bring back the soul, you bring back fellowship. The fellowship is a soul connection. The fellowship comes before friends, before the material plane. This is returning to the fellowship. Okay, are you cool about that?
I like that. That's awesome.
I'm not a South African. I belong to the fellowship of soul. You could put that. Wow, that will kick these buckets one way.
Yeah.
You just kick the bucket, reality on thing, and you just kick the bucket of being American. It's just been kicked on the floor, and it's a fellowship of souls.
I like that.
So you join the fellowship. So when you're in the fellowship, you're one conscious with all souls. How's that?
That's spot on. That's cosmic, as I would say.
It's got nothing to do. This has got nothing to do. Whatever you are, it's a fellowship of souls. That's it.
Beautiful. So let's just go ahead and jump in with you, starting at the introduction to alchemy and what you have to reveal to the listeners.
Yeah, cool. So now I will introduce you to the principles of alchemies and how an alchemist and alchemy is all about not getting back to paradise, is how you got into this mess. And once you find out how you got into this mess, you automatically appear back in paradise. Paradise lost, paradise found. So this is how you got caught in this, the matrix. We all have a body, we all have a soul, and we all have a mind. When you come into this matrix, your building blocks will change because your parents, the father is body, mind, soul, or the mother is mind, body, soul. So you change your building blocks. When the soul is in the center, it can heal any mind problems. When the soul is in the center, it can heal any body problems. So we continue. The soul, what is the soul? Well, the architect realized that he had to get rid of this thing called the soul. The soul is formless, and he replaced it by gods. He wrote scripts on God. He used the word an external energy called God. The soul, give you the definition of what a soul is. Just
manifested meaning of soulless.
Well, it's defined. It's an absolute. It exists in both the material plane and the metaphysic plane. So here we go.
So the soul is a symphony without sound. It tastes without a tongue, and it touches without feeling. It is omnipotent and travels without moving and distance. It is not matter, energy, space, and time. It is formless. That is the soul.
Cool. So we have a bit, and it manifests. Its manifestation is ether, earth, water, fire, and oxygen. The soul is light and sound. So we're moving on. So we move into the mind. What is the mind? The mind is a creation of the architect. Its hidden purpose is to enslave you. All it does is making problems and solutions and problems and solutions. So we go on further. So your destiny, take your mind. Your destiny has already been scripted in the subconscious mind. The mind, there's the mind and the subconscious mind. So what is the mind? The mind is when you go to school and you learn things at school. So you turn your 5 elements, ether, earth, water, fire, and oxygen, into knowledge. That's the mind. That's your creation. But the real issue is the subconscious mind. Why it is called the subconscious mind is because it's not readable. Why? Why can't I connect into the subconscious mind? Because the subconscious mind travels at 5 times the speed of light. So your 6 senses cannot read the subconscious mind. So when we're in Alchemist, what we do is we stop the subconscious mind, you access the subconscious mind, and you see the program, whatever it is, cancer, and with your 5 elements, you delete it. You turn it back into five elements. So the wife you sitting there, the husband you sit there, it's all been scripted in the subconscious mind, and you materialize it. When you come into the matrix, you start off with body, soul, mind. You come in with your male and feminine energy. So your first issue in this program is from 0 to 7, is the relationship, the pyramid relationship between your father and your mother. They are opposites. One's positive, one's negative. This prison splits your white light, your consciousness, into aura. They say, look at her aura. That tells me no, bad news, that aura stuff, because white light is consciousness. And so there you have and here you have a broken heart. You've been split. One side's your father, one side's your mother, and it takes you a long time to sort out this, because what happens when you come in, you have a male and feminine energy. So a male will give up its feminine energy, and the female will give up its male energy. So in that vacuum left, because you can't come in fully conscious, what you can do is return the matrix back into conscious. So you have to give up something. So 50% of you is already gone. That leaves you 50% of potency. So you're already half, as Freddie Mercury said, I'm half the person I used to be. That's your first left hook. Bang. The next big action that happens to you is the inoculation. Now they are putting all programs on a cellular level. They scrape all the rubbish, the shit of the universe, whatever it is, viruses. They say they're boosting the immune system. No, they're busy putting in, and there in the vaccination is all your inferior complex, murder, suicidals, rape. They scrape all this. All the viruses, cancer, and all that, and that goes into your cellular level, and your body's like the memory stick. So that's the next section. So now you carry on. Now your life takes a new turn. One to the left is the time track, and one to the right is the now. So your issues are, so when you go, you start to move. So you have a huge issue with your father and your mother, and all your issues you put in the now. They become patterns in your life. your father's and mother's energies, and you can't resolve them because they're their energies. Then you put the vaccine in your now. That has the power. It becomes a pattern. Then you put your schooling, all your schooling, always, I've got to run the race today. And you know how you already decided you're not going to win, so they will win. You already decided on the back foot, or whatever these issues are, these mental issues and they all stem from the vaccinations making you feel like burnt out. And then finally, then you eventually carry on, and in life, you finally get out, and then you have a big love issue. So all your love relationships are all in the now. Now, why is cancer so powerful? Because whatever you put in the now, we conscientize to the power of 2 billion people. But if you take those programs and you conscientize them back to zero, 0 to the power of 2 billion is still 0. So here we have it.
1 moment. So explain to the listeners, if you will, what 0 means to you. What does that mean in the truth of it? What does 0 mean in truth?
Well, 0 means the complete close of the omega sign. When you come into the, you get your sound back. 0 is of sound mind. Your omega sign is open when you come into the matrix. So that is what 0 is. So let's have a look what's happened to you. So this is what's happened to you. So 50% of your male is okay. So there's 50% gone. So let's work it out. What's going through? So your cosmic connection to the cosmic laws is this. So bad childhood, 25%. Bad inoculation, 12%. Bad schooling, 6%. And bad love affairs and parents. Eventually, only 3% of your essence energy is passing through these pipes. So you have to realign these things. So now then we have a look what's happened. So it's written. Here's the box. How was the cube made? Well, you have first the parallel worlds. Like Stephen Hawking has proven that we live in a parallel world. So the academic will know in Newton's University that we have parallel worlds. And as we know, as above, so below. That's square one. So this mutation, square one, has 6 mutations. 1 is the past, 2 is the present, 3 is the future, 4 is and 5 and 6, and there you are in Pandora's box. And this is how you are now locked in this matrix. So now we have to unbuckle these. That is how you are trapped in this reality. Let's move on.
So what I'm hearing you say is when we came in with an open omega. And as you're going through the alchemy of alchemizing everything, to the power of everybody, all of humanity, alchemizing that back, what you're doing is by taking out, alchemizing all the programs, all the issues, that means that all of humanity will then go back to the 0, which is the cosmic expression, and outside of the matrix. Will the matrix still exist once it's all alchemized, or the matrix will just be completely gone?
It disappears. The architect will be left in his own box. What he created, he will be left in his own box.
But for the rest that choose to be conscious, then they will be then in the cosmic expression, the cosmic law reality, where everything is manifesting instead of materializing, correct?
Exactly. We'll be all back in the moment. That's
Okay.
who there's no time. And the Omega sign is now closed. So now you've got your sound and light. When you come into the great thing of the matrix is to take your earth element. But you see, take a person like mine. You see, with me, how did I get to this? How did I know this? Well, before the matrix was ever made, before the architect ever decided to create numbers, and I already walked I walked the path of it. My consciousness traveled that path, and that is how I walked this path. And when I appeared at his creation, I was the first one there. I was the first person to knock on his door and he said to me, Beethoven, I've taken the light. And I said, well, what's left? Sound. So I have sound, I have perfect sound, I have perfect harmonic, perfect resonance, hasn't been touched. And that Beethoven is now writing, you can only write 9 symphonies. The 10th symphony, 1 and 0, is the binary code, goes back into one harmonic, one universal harmonic, and that is what's taking place on this planet. This planet is changing. Time is imploding. Why is time imploding? For 40 years, I've sat in a room day and night. I only sleep 1 hour a day, been deleting these programs. You see, he said, they say that Buddha was the way or Christ was the path. You see, I said, no. Where is the Buddha? The Buddha, you have the Buddha in the East, and in Africa, you have the sleeping Buddha. When the sleeping Buddha wakes up, that's when consciousness comes back. So what did I do? Well, I started on circular, and I went round and round and round for 40 years. And eventually I've come to this point. And that is why we are now on a huge shift taking place in consciousness. Thoughts are disappearing. The words, what we do in Alchemist, we turn the words, you learned words, past, present, and future. You see? No, that's on the time track. Where's the words have root? Where's the root of the word? In the now. You go to the root of the word, let's say cancer. You take the word cancer, which is a hard drive word, and you boot the whole program connected with cancer. You bring that cancer's word back into 5 elements. Words are disappearing. They are dematerializing. One day you'll open up the book and there'll be no words. Open up the Bible, there'll no, because we've been alchemizing. It's like what Neo said in the Matrix, that we would live in a world with no rules and no laws. You see, in the first Matrix film that he said. And when you look at the Matrix film is only a manifestation of the work the sleeping Buddha has been doing in metaphysics for the last 40 years. You know, I'm now 75 years. I've never been to a doctor in 58 years. People come here and they've got AIDS, they walk out and the AIDS is gone. Why? Because I have the sound vibration. I bring back their sound. You have light, no sound. When you give that, or sound, no light. When you bring them back to their own alchemist. The people, I'm the seed. I'm not the, they are becoming alchemists to themselves. They alchemize their own programs. And that is why the vibration, if you look at the human resonance, it's rising it fast and fast. We got guys doing vibrations in where I live. And they say it was 40, it's 43 weeks ago. It's now gone to 350. The same vibration using all Tesla's machines. Because when you see the Schumann resonance spiking, it spikes over South Africa. Where does Nostradamus say? No, Nostradamus said the new consciousness or the new whatever, what he called it, would arrive out of South Africa. Where do I live? In South Africa. What is the province I live in? It's called the Kingdom of KwaZulu-Natal. So what does that mean? The Kingdom of KwaZulu-Natal is that the children of heaven return. So this Natal, and the colors are black and white. There's no gray here. It has that energy. You know, when I was in the South African Army in the 60s, I said to the general, I said, do you think it's good that we go and shoot these Zulus here? The Zulus live here. He said, why? I said, well, Zulu is Z in the Bible, the last letter of the alphabet. They will one day run this country. What happened? He said, get out of my army. Yeah, I said, and they're very religious. I said, well, there you go. You better change your direction. But so there is something that is very important to you, everyone listening to this, that Africa has when you come to Africa, you can never leave Africa because your soul is kept here. Why? Because in the East, you have spirituality. In the West, you have materialism. When these two energies come together, they can only come in consciousness. So this has a very important part. And you have to realize Pangaea was once, America came from Africa. India came from Africa because they all broke off. They all split from there. Now the cosmic consciousness is now closing the mega sun, and we are waking up. Even those people who are asleep, they are waking up. There's no one going to sleep. As that one famous song said, wake me up when it's all over. Well, it's wake up time. And when you look at the date we are 2020. They said that 2012 was the end of this. The Mayan calendar ended on 2012. Yeah. No, well, what happened? Nothing happened. Well, because they were looking on the time track, 2012. But in actual fact, as I said to you, that the now is the number 9, and you add 9 to 2012, so 2021. So that is how fast this thing is changing. And now it is you're starting to see people are now right into the taking up the people power. The people are now taking back their conscience. They say no more governments, because when they're in the cosmic close their mega sun, they be fully conscientized in the moment. All this eating of pigs and dogs and whatever is all scripted in the subconscious mind. It's to just eat the energy, to be dependent in that body. Those things are changing. So that's where we're sitting at this point in time. So I'm going to give you a couple of things, you see.
So I'm going to Clem. So for those that are listening, just for clarity, you're not saying just to go out and stop eating food. What you're saying as a person, go ahead and clarify that, because I don't want people to think, oh, he said to stop eating. I can just live off of energy, but please clarify to the listener what that entails.
Well, I'm just using food because we eat such excessive food. When you start to deprogram, conscientize the subconscious mind, you turn that energy into 5 element cosmic laws. So it's like the elves. Tesla was an elf. This planet is all elf. They only lived on the 5 elements. If they wanted fire, they just did click fire. And Tesla was told. I told Tesla to spoke. He said to me, "I'm going to give these aliens this understanding. of what we can do with the free energy. I said to Tesla, that is the most stupidest thing you can do, to do that. But I can't stop you. What happened? They saw it and they said, this is the guy we need to get rid of because we want them to be dependent upon the energy, the faucet. So this is all coming about now.
So what I just want to say, my interpretation of what you're saying is, as you become more conscious, you're just going to naturally fall away from the desire to eat food, to consume so much food that you'll just find yourself, maybe you only eat once during the day. It's not like you're forcing yourself to stop eating. It'll just naturally start happening as you become more conscious. The body will no longer require the external fleshy nutrients because it'll be feeding naturally off of the essence that we truly are, which is the 5 elements.
There's the 5 elements because your omega sign is closed and that you're using cosmic energy. It's like in the in the film The Matrix, when the kid held the spoon. He said his omega sign was closed. He said, you must understand this, the spoon doesn't actually exist. It's a hologramic picture in the sub that you are materializing. And when you finally close your omega sign, you make your own avatar. You walk into we are all walking back into our own full consciousness, that we manifest everything. Is that better?
Yes. So for clarity, because people are out there using the word manifest incorrectly. Manifest is from cosmic consciousness. Materialism is when a person is operating within the matrix according to the programmings and beliefs and everything that has been put into their subconscious mind. Is that correct?
That's totally correct. You cannot visualize when your omega sign is closed, you have omnipotent. There's so much potency in you, and this is why. So why are we in this state? Well, a lot of the people in America are elves, and like they got caught in this whole invasion of aliens. So the aliens came and they said, first of all, vaccinate these people. Keep them on a low vibration. And if you have a low vibration, we will use their essence energy to survive. But this has now been broken because we've been alchemizing for 40 years, this whole turning words into 5 elements. And that is why they've brought in this vaccination, another attempt to get them down, keep them down. But whatever they do, it's way past, because we can go into the subconscious mind and we can find the word coronavirus. Coronavirus has been there since we started computers, since Bill Gates and his cronies came out with all this high technology. They knew about it. They knew it long ago, that they were told they were making viruses. And these viruses are attacking the trees, attacking everything. The bark on a tree used to be an inch thick. Now it's like half an inch. But now they're starting to reverse, because when we keep closing the omega sign, we're building more and more consciousness. Eventually, all the thoughts will disappear. You'll be in full consciousness. How's that?
That's wonderful. So for clarity for the listeners, it doesn't mean that you're not in the moment experiencing. That's exactly what you're going to be. You're going to be in the moment experiencing. When you're truly in the moment experiencing, thoughts are not necessary.
No, there's no thoughts in the moment. It's like a symphony, a Beethoven symphony. Beethoven's symphonies, Beethoven's music is in the moment. Mozart and them on the time track, because he took sound mind. So let's do it now. I'm already giving you guys all a session. It's going click, click, click. It's going somewhere. Relax, people, relax. It's going somewhere. 3 days later, I click a button. Oh, click that. I conscientize it. Never say, I don't get it or I don't know. Just say, I got it. If you say, I don't know, I don't understand, well, you won't understand. You've switched on the mind, won't understand. All you say, I got it, even if you don't get it. You just say, I got it. It goes through the consciousness, and the consciousness processes it through the mind, and your soul turns that program. That's what it is. Click. It's there. So I'm going to put some healing onto you while you are listening to this. I'm only interested in alchemizing 24 hours. I can park 5 Mercedes-Benz in one garage. That's consciousness. There's no limitation. You see, it's only an illusion in your mind. The 7777 is a limitation. So where does this 7777 come from? Well, I gave you the 6, and inside the box is 7. Oh. And that presses, when that 7777 presses your subconscious down, you will lose money. You'll start off, and the 77, eventually the money will go back to the casino. That's why that 7777. But I'm interested to give you some experience of getting your sound, your Om sound. We all lack of sound mind. So I materialized in a Buddhist center in Tibet some years ago. And I knocked on the door. And the guy opened. I said, hello, Lee. How do you know my name is Lee? I said, are you Lee? He says, yes. I said, how many lives have you lived here? 5 lifetimes. Oh, okay. I drew an omega sign. Open omega sign. And I said, do you know what that is? He said, that's the omega sign. Then I joined from the center of the circle to both sides, and had a pyramid. And I said, do you know what that is? No. I said, that's the mind. Oh, the mind. The rest of this other side, where does Buddhism exist? The rest is soul. Does it exist there? No. It exists in the mind. Wow. In the triangle. So I said to him, okay, so just assume you take out Buddhism or any problem. If you've got a problem with drugs, you've got a problem with whatever, money, you take that problem and you visualize taking it out of the mind and putting it in the most distant space, right out of space. You've done that? Yeah. I said, fine. Now, what I want you to do is to make a chant. Like I learned in the temple. No. Your own chant. Now, you've taken something in a way. Now you can put back your sound and you close that omega sound. Wow. Now try and bring Buddhism back. It can't go through sound. Sound dematerializes any words back into sound. What we lack is sound. And what you have for the first time when you do this, you have a sound mind. And when you have one sound mind in Buddhism, it collapses the next thing that's not sound. And therefore, you get a sound mind. That's alchemy. How's that?
Excellent. So those who are listening, the sound could be...
What?
I just want to make it clarity for those listening that your sound could be any sound you want it to be. You don't need to try to recreate what Clem just did. Make it your own sound. You'll know what your own sound is. It'll just be there because it's just, that's the essence that you are expressing. It'll just come and that'll be sound. It won't be noise like we hear all around us, not noise. It's going to be sound. Okay, go ahead.
Yes. Now, this is a very important point, how you control the matrix, how you control the mind, how you control, it's not your mind, it's the mind. So, and you know, I deal with heart surgeons. So they've got to open this guy's stomach, and then they're looking at the sky. And every move is very important to know what if this guy's got it. And I showed him this, and I said, when you start doing this, all of a sudden you get sound. Now, sound notes. How infinitely powerful is sound than AI? AI can't even handle sound. So here you get your sound. Now, my client, he says to me, when I do this, he's become very famous in the world since the Alchemist healing, because he says when I do it, I just look at possibilities, and I see things that no one else sees in that diagram, where the real problem is, because he's got his sound. His sound is already healing and making the healing. So people would have like a bypass or whatever, and it'd take 2 weeks, or I don't know. He says they come on a Monday and they're leaving on Friday. Because of that, he closing the omega sign. Alchemist is nothing else but using your own essence, your own potency. So that is another healing. So now I'm going to do another thing. I'm starting to give you I'm showing you the product or the manifestation, and eventually you work on sound. So you just see possibilities. You just get endless possibilities in your life. Everything is possible. I bought a carpet the other day, and it was a Persian rug, a most magnificent Persian, but it was badly eaten by moths. So it was valued at 100,000 rand. I bought it for three. I bought it for 3.5. I fixed the carpet. I said, "How can you fix it?" I said, "I fixed that carpet." And you see because it gives you all possibilities. When you work intelligence, you try in the future. When you work with sound, you just have possibility. Your dreams, when you bring sound mind, your dreams become possible. You go back to the dream world. So I want to do another.
Okay, so I wanted to explain to you, because you've explained to me the difference, what the dreams that are put in place by the Matrix, which are not really our own. Those are not the dreams that's not the dreaming that you're referring to. To me, and I would say that's that knowing. You just know, and therefore you experience that knowing, and it's like, I know this, and then you have that experience, and I know that.
That knowing brings in manifestation. That's how it is. You manifest from the knowing. The soul is all knowing. So how's the world on coronavirus? Why can't we get an answer? Because our omega sign is open. How did it get open? Well, because they did it by mathematics, you see. They opened it. So I want to do another healing on the individual.
Okay, so you and I know what you're talking about. When you say they opened it by mathematics, you're talking about metaphysics, using numbers.
No,
so can you explain that a little bit?
I will explain that. We were talking about alpha to omega. So let's do it. What does that mean? So we do the omega sign, and there we divide it. It's open. It has an opening. So it's 4 times 90 equals 360 degrees. You agree times 90 is 360. So in the math, and I had a German maths teacher, so I did a full circle. And I said, 4 times 90 plus 1. Our math teacher looked over and said, "Where did you get the 1 from?" I said, you start off at 1 degree. 0 degree is still a degree of 0. So that gives you 361 degrees. 361 is 10. It's a binary code. So when you immediately, mathematically, you've broken a spell. You're living in, you start something. This is why the financial world will never heal itself, because they start something positive, ends up negative. So it's 360. That's working in metaphysics. My American friend said, Clem, how you in metaphysics, how come did the Chinese win so many gold medals in the London Olympics? There's 2 countries I would never go to war with. One is China, one is Russia. Don't go to war with those. You'll come off. Because they lost 6 million. They lost 6 million. They know what to come from nothing. They've got that in them, eh? If you know a bit about warfare, stay well away from them. And these Chinese, they know warfare. Don't kid yourself. They know this. How do they know this? Well, what did they do? When I said to the guy, my American friend, did you look at the flag going, the red flag? Yes. Did you see the camera fall on the person? And under the star was 361 degrees. They've got that sign. They are working with cosmic laws. Somewhere along the line, they know this. So that's why I'm saying, and they know how to, but we have now working with metaphysics. That's why the program is to be one world order and one world, the yellow race will rule. I found those programs in the subconscious mind and I deleted them. I found them in my own sub and I deleted them. It's like a domino effect. It just goes through the whole system. You're the answer. You're trying to find the answer from this guy, that guy, this guy, blah, 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 blah. It's all blah, blah, blah. This is not blah, blah. Things are clicking. I can tell you now, when you finish listening to this, you won't be the same guy that started. Something will go click in your head, and you cannot go back. You know too much, and your soul is like Neo in the Matrix. When he realized, when Neo was on the building, and he had to jump the building, the first attempt he went down, but when he realized that he created in his subconscious the building and the other point, he could visualize himself doing it, and he could manifest himself in that across the bridge. That's what alchemy is about. That film, the Matrix film, was made of all the work done in metaphysics. That's how they made it. I mean, I took many of my Mr. Smith friends who go, look, I should show you. What do you think of this? He said, I'm shocked they allowed them to make this film. Oh, okay.
So I would like to ask you to speak into, we have this big election coming on. We have this coronavirus. So there's the appearance of chaos and conflict, and it's within the matrix illusion. People are fighting against each other, and you know, we know that, you know, what you fight persists. Okay, so will you share with the listeners how to use alchemy to get them in a place where they're not where they're not getting pulled in by the programs, getting tricked by the matrix to get in fight mode. I'm going to be a warrior for this, and I'm going to fight for this, and I'm going to fight against this, because all they're doing is, you know, energizing what they're wanting to get rid of. So will you share with the listeners how alchemy is the answer to that so-called issue?
Well, I'll tell you, I don't know if they're going to have an election. That's the first thing. What I do know, that every individual in America is going to take its power back. They've gone too far, too fast. Even in this country, they're saying, we don't care with the bullets, no work, and that, but we will take, we are many more than you. And this is a big shift in consciousness. There is a big shift to the people becoming awake. Like the most sleepy person is now waking up because it's coming so quick. As I said, 2021's not even 7 months away. You see, so well, there you go. But as I say, this whole, issue with the coronavirus it was always there. Bill Gates knew this long ago. He knew this, but he kept quiet. Then he thought, oh, I will make a vaccine, to repair it. But, he should have just said, look, man, I'm making a monster out of this. The next vibration will be like, we will just dematerialize. That they go to G8, G9, which they can't go because we've already conscious. That the body will just like in a microwave. My kids phone me from America and they say the algae is glowing on the floor and what's going on? I said because they're up this whole vibration. This coronavirus doesn't travel through air. What happens? It comes through the electromagnetic fields. That's how it travels. That's all it is. So was this all a manipulation? Of course it was. It was a manipulation from the matrix. If it is China, America, whatever, all the governments, it's all scripted in the matrix. And when you open that, what Alchemist does, alchemy opens the metaphysic world, which is 10. In the metaphysic, and you go into the sessions, we go into the metaphysic, and we delete it in the metaphysic world, and the rules will change in the physical plane. You cannot change the matrix in the physical plane. You have to have access into the metaphysic world, and you have to have sound and light. That's how it is. Eventually, people couldn't beat the matrix, so they joined it. So what did Lucifer say? Okay, cool. You can have, I'll be friends with you in past. I'll be friends with you in present. I'll be friends with you in the future. I'll be friends with you in the now. I'll be friends in one moment in time. All made in heaven, which is 6 axes that keep on knocking on heaven's door. And the 7th seal is the Church of Scientology. Ron Hubbard is the 7th seal. There's you got your 7 deadly sins. You got the 7 seals, the 7 veils, and they're all coming up. If you like it, if you don't, you're going to see, you're going to become conscious. You're going to see the whole reality. It's coming up every second. It's rising. Cosmic energy is changing everything. How's that?
It's excellent.
I predict, I say, the people's power is coming back. Like these films were not made for nothing. V for Vendetta is not a film made out of some. That is work in the metaphysics done by Alchemies. That's what they come. The artists pick it up, and in the end, they said, "Who's V?" No, he's the conscious. He's the soul. It's what we call the fellowship. This is all about the fellowship. The fellowship has come back. You like it if you're Catholic or Christian or Buddhist, the fellowship has finally come back. The soul has now come back, one soul. And that's what's moving. That's moving the destiny of this planet. The destiny of the planet is no longer in the politicians' hands. Gone. No longer in Lucifer's hand.
For those that they're listening to this, and they're like, they get triggered by something on the external world. What can they do to not get caught up in that energy of that trigger?
Well, because they like it or they don't like it, they've already changed many of their realities from this talk. I mean, if it's a lie, it fall off. What if, as my ex-wife says, what if you're wrong? I said, if I'm wrong, it just falls off. But what if I'm right? Think about that. So they will say, hang on. This is just a program in my subconscious that I'm deleted. And when you delete it, when you take that problem and you delete it, your matrix closed, the omega sign closes, and access denied. They're 8. Their circuit is open. They become vulnerable. They can't run the system. So every time you close an omega sign, your omega sign, they say it, one door closed, another door open, and they break the circuit. They've got to find another circuit to, and unfortunately, they're running out of circuits. We have developed so far, whatever, there's no more, the police force, they have lost they have no more status. Like in V for Vendetta, when the guy broke all her fears, she saw the cop there, but there was just a uniform with nothing there. That is what's happening. So here we going at this rate of alchemies, and so the things are already changing. It's already on the way back into the 5 elements. Are you cool?
Yes, I am. I'm going to circle back around before you do the last healing that you were saying you're going to do. Towards the very beginning, you talked about white light, and when we come in, that gets fractured. So for the listeners, what that is prism. So the prism, you know, it shatters out into all this color. So color is a product of the matrix. Color is a product of the matrix. And so just putting that clarity out there.
White light is the embracement. It's not shattered. Everything is shattered. Our lives are shattered. We start when we come into the matrix. 1 is you. 2 is your family. 3 is your group. 4 is your culture. 5 is animal, earth, plant, and animal. 6 is matter, energy, space, and time. 7 is spirit. 8 is God. Those are all divided middle. 9 is the now. 0, the 0, the architect is 0. He claims 0. What is, he claims yours. He puts your, because you're trapped in the box and you're not at 0, he puts the matrix at 0. It represents him. In other words, here you go. How do you get, when you look at this, when you look at numbers, say A is 1. So as a Roman Catholic or a Catholic, Aleph is 1. A is 1. For a Muslim, A is 1. For a Hindu, A is 1. For a Buddhist, A is 1. For a Jew, A is 0. That is why Hitler went after the Jews, because he wanted the 0. He knew that he was a Catholic. He had 1 to 10. The Jews have 0 to 9. They're looking for the 10th of Zion.
All made in heaven.
All made in heaven.
Actually looking for all made in heaven, which is being handled.
So
okay, so Di, if you're going to say wait 1 moment. We couldn't hear what Di was saying, so she needs to be closer so we can hear you.
She just gave me the word.
I just gave him the word that the 10th door is actually the construct all made in heaven, because they have from 0 to 9. They don't have the 10, whereas your Christians, Muslims, and that they have from 1 to 10.
So now that is why you're useless with money. All you people are useless in debt. Why? Because you haven't got all the. So you just claim. I claim 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. There's 11. And 11 is closure. So now you've got all the numbers. You're conscious of all the numbers. Your finances start to straighten up. But if you're missing a digit, you've got no closure. You've got open omega side. Everything is no closure. And really that goes click. All of a sudden your budget starts working, and you see, and your numerology and all that disappears, because it's built on 1 to 10. Not to 0.
There's no division.
The 0 is the architect's out of the box. He thinks it's like a joke. He thinks it's like a game. It's what Greek tragedy.
Comedy.
Tragedy. It's tragedy for us, and it's a comedy from. He can't believe he's laughing his head off. That's why he's the laughing Buddha.
Okay.
How's that? So I just want to go back on something.
Yeah. So what didn't get shared, which I know would be beneficial to the listeners, is that when I first started, when you did this first intro with me, first fellowship with me, is that you said, in the beginning was the Word, and the Word was God. But you've also revealed to me it's not only words that are what's operating in the matrix as part of the programming, but the numbers that are attached to the letters that put. Please explain that, because I don't want to mess it up. But you're explaining to me that the numbers are more powerful than the words.
Well, when you start of 0, what is 0? 0 is 1 and 10, embraces all the numbers. So he makes a thing. He says, okay, give me your soul and I'll give you like Warren Buffett. So he gets something. So he goes, he breaks the soul into 2 pieces, those who have and those who have not. So the first break is to break the 0 and 1. And then, so it goes to 1. So what is 2? 1 over 2. What is 3? 1 over 3. You're always controlled by that 1. The architect can only be 1. He's the 1. When you study the works of Ron Hubbard, what does he write? He said, in his axioms to life, he writes, absolutes are unobtainable. And in those days, I wrote to him, I said, but sir, that's an absolute in itself. What are you doing? So if it's unobtainable, so the absolute of evilness is gone, full circle. You can't make any more evil. There's no more evil they can make. We cannot do anything. So I said to him, I wrote to him and I said, okay, so if absolutes are unobtainable, so therefore it's attainable for someone. If it's not attainable for the masses, who's it attainable for? It's you, sir. It's you. And that's everything is built on a fundamental axiom. A positive times a positive is not a positive. Why? Because when the maths teacher said to me in the alpha, beta, theta, delta quadrant, he said a positive times a positive is a positive, and a negative times a negative is a negative. So the next day I took my father's cables. My father was a construction company, and I put the cable, I put positive, negative, and negative. So I said to the German maths teacher, listen, I've got a problem with positive. 2 positive make a positive, and 2 negative make a positive. Something doesn't add up here. So I said, I put positive, and he said, no, that's what it is. I said, is this right? He said, if you don't do it this way, you will fail, and blah, 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 blah. Okay. And before he could say, I switched the switch on. What happened? I blew the whole school up. So in alpha quadrant, a positive times is a negative. It's all negative. And you are running on a negative energy. The only one who's positive are his agents, or 50. So immediately that breaks that.
Because like poles repel.
So why do you get the shit boyfriend? Because opposites attract. It's all worked in metaphysics, magnetic attractions. Love is a magnetic attraction. As we say in our, when we do, love is a what?
Bad luck.
Love. All people with love problems just say bad luck. It was bad luck. That's the word. So you see that. That's what that represents. So I want to do one thing more on this type before we end off, is I want to give you the relativity of the mind. No one has ever, I talk with gurus and whatever, whoever comes, I talk with murderers, everything. And they say, your words are more powerful than the drugs psychotic drugs we have. You make us laugh. When we sit with you, we become conscious. Oh, okay. So I want to just do the relativity of the mind. Why would I do that? I'm going to show you the limitations of the mind. When Einstein theory, it's a theory of relativity. It's not true. It's it's non-absolute. It's hypothesis. All this is hypothesis, positive and negative hypothesis. So I only hypothesis, but I want to focus on this thing, the mind, the mind. So eventually, one of my clients who belonged to the Theosophy Society. We all know who the Theosophy Society is. The Theosophy Society. So they've asked me to give a talk on metaphysics. So I said, okay. So what I introduced myself as Clem. I'm Clem. So hello to Clem. Yeah, so then I'm welcome. So I said, okay. So who is Clem? I said, well, I'm like 50,000 times more cleverer than Einstein. I'm 100 times more clever than Tesla. Right? Ask me why I said that. Why did I say that? I said, I've worked out the relativity of the mind. One guy was very well. He said, no one has ever thought or written about the relativity of the mind. Well, there's always a first time. So they said, okay, so what is the relativity of the mind? I said, 5 times the speed of light. That's what it is. That's relative. So we know what the speed of light is, but what do they get the 5? Five is when you went to school and you turned your 5 elements into low self-esteem. Click, you turn your 5 elements. You got fear at school, doubt at school, failure at school, and no composure. You lose your composure. That's the duplicity of school. What you know on the time track is this. What is duplicity? What is the duplicity? So when you do this, so these energies speed the mind at 5 times the speed of light. So you start off 100 miles an hour. That's how fast the mind is traveling. That's how fast. So we say, okay, turn low self-esteem back into 5 elements, 0. Turn fear back into 5 elements, 0. Turn it into 0. Turn failure into 0. And no composure, turn it into 0. You've stopped the mind. You've stopped it. Listening to this stuff, you stop the mind. You take time out. You just say, I'm taking time. So you move yourself. You just assume it. And you move. The universal mind, which sits in the center of the wheel, has to go there, and you reclaim the center of the wheel back at 0. And therefore, you're no longer on the time track. That's how you got trapped on the time track at school. So they all looked at me and they were like, wow. So they said, but that's your hypothesis. You know, they always come, they can't see a Beethoven symphony. That's how they are. But so I said, okay, so we know the body is relative. Okay. It's a female, so many years old, blah, 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 blah. Wait a minute. That's cancel. So you left with the mind and you left with the soul. One is relative, one is not relative. If they were both relative, there would be no soul, there'd be all mind. So I said, it's your choice. One is real, one is not real. The soul is unquantified, cannot be measured. No science has ever been able to measure the soul. When they do these sessions, the Hadron Collider tried to find the God particle or the soul particle. They even had the wrong word. So when you look at that and you say that's real, I've cancelled out the power of the mind. So your soul says, cool. And now I know the body. I know the relativity The formula of, as Oprah says, get with the formula, is 5 times. So the soul no longer being controlled by the soul can only be controlled by half truths. All of it, it's a truth. It now embraces the mind and now starts to eat the mind away, like turns these energies back into 5 elements. That's how alchemy is. I've given you a lot of, yeah. Are we happy about this?
I'm very happy. Just for clarity, you're not saying to buy into what Oprah said. That was a mind statement, correct?
Yeah. That's a mind state.
Okay.
I mean, that's why they get programmed. No, you're right. Very good.
Okay. I just wanted that clarity for the listeners.
I would always go on a hunt with you. I'd always go to war with you. I would always go to war with you. I would have no problem going to war with you, sure. Because I know my back would be covered. You'd look after me better than I would look after myself.
Okay. So one of the amazing things for me was when I did my first fellowship with Clem is that he pointed out that if you ask somebody to say the words body, mind, and soul, how do they always say that? They always say body, mind, soul. Well, that reveals that you're putting the mind in charge. So to say body, soul, mind, then the soul then becomes in charge of the body and the mind, in which actually this all becomes conscious. And so as we alchemize, like Clem was saying, that the soul is eating up the mind. It's like a little Pac-Man, visual going on there. The soul is actually alchemizing the mind. So no longer thinking, no longer having thoughts, all the programming, all the beliefs. And so therefore everything just is, as they would say in the Matrix, right as rain.
You see, the shift to body, mind, soul. The soul can't heal the body because the mind blocks it. Or a financial problem, the body's in the center and the soul can't heal the body, the problem, the mind problem. That is the whole thing. And then they say trust in God, because this is why you trust in God, because if you're in soul centered, your divine power would turn that energy, it would turn it. And that's what they call divine intervention. For the Catholics and the Christians, that's divine intervention. Once the soul is back, and the greatest secret of everything, he replaced, as I said, the soul. He said, I've got to get rid of that. We'll call it God. And in the Bible, it was defined. The soul, the God was defined as the 5 elements, but the 5th session of popes ripped it out. They said, we'll give them Jesus Christ hanging on a cross. We can't do that. That would click. That was a flaw in the matrix. The one flaw in the Bible, that the soul was God. It was the 5 elements. And they took that away and gave them this thing, God.
And the other word they put in, the other word that you shared with me that they put in for soul is spirit. Spirit and soul are not the same.
Yeah. Yes, exactly. A spirit is someone who's given up their light for knowledge, or they've given up their sound, but they give up that's why they 50. That's why Freddie Mercury, I'm 50% of the. He gave up his light and whatever. That's why you're 50%, and you've got to regain that 50, that sound of sound mind, because he made sure that sound would never be attainable, because he knew when I took sound, he said, this will heal the thing. This is my problem. Sound is the ultimate healer, Om sound. But so that's the great secret. And I'll give you another secret of Africa. There's one secret. There's only one thing. You know, I had gurus here and I told them, and they said, you in Africa are 1,000 years behind. I said, don't talk rubbish, we're about 1,000 years ahead. In Africa, there's an energy that says, no secret remains a secret. That's the difference. When you come here, you change. Something changes in you. All my friends from they come here and they're like, hey, Clem, the potatoes taste different than I had them. They said the potatoes taste different here than in the USA. But they came from the USA. Because they're conscious, they're in the moment.
Well, that's a beautiful place to end. Thank you so much, Clem and Dive, for being in this fellowship today. And we'll do this again really soon. Thank you so much.
Cool. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you
Ciao.
very much. Ciao. Bye.
Ciao, ciao.
Ciao,
Ciao,
ciao.
ciao.
Well, thank you for listening. And thank you for your fellowship. Please go ahead and like, subscribe, and share this new YouTube channel. A PayPal link is listed below. All PayPal donations are most appreciated. For emails, they are also listed below to contact myself or Di and Clem. If you have questions for the next fellowship that I will be posting, please send them to me and I will get answers for you. All right, have a cosmic moment.